Hi friends, everyone wants to know what this class, Introduction to Mysticism, is all about. What are some of the topics that we're going to discuss? Who is it for? What you can get out of it? Everybody wants to know more about it because there's something within human nature that craves the connection with that which is beyond us, and yet, mysteriously, it is within us. It is bigger than us, but it's within us. So it's kind of a mystery. But everybody craves that. And sometimes we feel this void within. Sometimes we feel that our lives are not complete. Although we have everything that we could possibly want, something is still missing. Well, mystics know exactly what's missing, and they have collectively, over thousands of years, developed techniques that we can all use, or we can all learn and use to fill the void within. So I'm going to be describing some of these ideas to you, and answering some of these questions that I've received about the class Introduction to Mysticism. I think that other people who have been asking these questions have told me that these explanations in of themselves almost make up a whole class in of itself. So I hope you enjoy this and stay with us through the end, because we're going to learn a few new things. And I want to tell you something else. Even before I tell you about the class Introduction to Mysticism, I want to tell you that I myself am a student of mysticism. My only job, I don't pretend to teach anybody anything. What I do, gladly and happily do, is I share with others what I have learned and picked up. I have followed a very strict and traditional process and program. This is not the kind of thing that I learned by looking at YouTube videos or anything like this. In other words, there's a particular process that we follow. And I'm going to share with you what the process is and how you can follow the same path. But it is an individual path. I don't do anything for you other than share with you a few ideas that will get you on your path until you discover your own teacher, which mysteriously is already within you. My job is to introduce you to your master, to your teacher, to your higher self. And when you get there, you're going to feel the sense of fulfillment that you're meant to feel. Mysticism is the experience of a higher state of awareness while we are awake, essentially. It's almost as if you're in a dream state, connected to your spiritual self, but while awake and conscious. It's almost as if you're connecting the conscious with the unconscious. It's an experience that involves an altered state of consciousness, and it's been all over the place. There are Christian mystics. A lot of the saints have experienced mystical experiences. It is associated with the disappearance of the concept of space and time. But more importantly, those who engage in mystical experiences experience a degree of unity with the entire universe, or the cosmic, as we call it. So this class, called Introduction to Mysticism, is an opportunity for us to get together over a period of 12 weeks. We're going to follow a very structured program where we're going to cover the entire constitution of the human being, starting with what we call duality of the human being. We're going to be talking about physical nature, spiritual nature, how the two come together, how the two sort of forget about one another. We're going to discuss the mind at a level that perhaps you have not studied before. We're going to understand the conscious and unconscious and all levels of the mind, and also the relation that one has to the other. We're also going to understand, when it comes to the mind, something called mental programming, which is almost like a hypnotic phenomenon where, since we're born, we're being programmed to believe certain things. And one of the things that happens to mystics is that they deprogram their minds, and as a result of that deprogrammation, or removing all of the programming, they become people who cannot be manipulated. So you have examples in the Bible, for instance, of Daniel, who refuses to bow down to the king. It's an example of what a mystic does. Because the mystic's mind cannot be programmed, we're also not people who can be bossed around, in a sense. That doesn't mean that mystics don't obey the laws. It just means that they're not manipulatable. So don't worry. Notice that in those examples of these great mystics of the past, not only was Daniel not manipulatable, but when he was thrown into the lion's den, the lions would kneel down before him. So mystics have been known to develop a certain amount of control over their environment, not because they harm anybody or harm anything, but because they are completely certain of who they are and their relationship to others and their relationship to the universe. And that certainty gives them the appearance that they have some degree of power, but it isn't power in the sense of, I'll do this to you if you don't do what I say. It isn't that kind of power. It is just that, they are one with the universe, and that gives them peace. One of the benefits that you're going to get is connections and bonds with people who are like you. They're also searching for meaning in their lives and meaning in life itself, and bonding with other like-minded and like-hearted people is a very precious thing. The bond itself with like-minded people and like-hearted people is a very, very big part of the value in joining this community. But there are other things as well. Because we're going to learn how the mind works, because we're going to learn some ancient healing techniques that involve the use of breathing and visualization, because we're going to learn skills such as, astral projection and some other things, you're also going to learn how to bring your mind back in time or forward in time, which means that you're going to be able to heal yourself. You're going to be able to understand why you are the way you are, and more importantly, how to change you into a person that is more compatible with who you truly, truly are in terms of your spiritual nature. So who's this class for? This is a very important question, because nothing on this earth is for everybody. There's something for everybody, and it's not for everybody, right? So I'm not the one who decides if this class is for you or not. I can only tell you why I got onto this path many, many years ago. And within me, there was an insatiable, and there still is, an insatiable desire to understand how the universe works. And when I say understanding the universe, I mean both the inner and outer universe. I needed to know why I am the way that I am. I needed to understand why I feel the way I feel about life and about others. I needed to understand what makes things work. Why is the world as it is? Why are people the way they are? And I have been able to answer some of those questions over the years through the mystical experience, but not all of them. That's why I'm still a student of mysticism, and I continue pursuing further answers. But I can tell you that people who are interested in the mystical path, as we call it, also experience a longing in their hearts. It's almost as if they know that this life over here isn't entirely real. There is something about life that is quite real, and those are the bonds that we establish with other people, the service that we provide to others, the true and authentic love that we feel. Those things are real, of course. But this world we live in a sense, is a theatrical reality, and that theatrical reality isn't quite real. It's kind of made up in a sense. And until you realize that, I'm not saying until you know it, I'm saying until you realize that, and those two words are a little bit different, but until you realize that this external world has power over you. Whereas, as you begin to realize the theatricality of the physical world, you begin to realize that it sort of loses power over you. Now, when I say it loses power over you, I'm not saying that you don't have to obey laws or pay taxes, because mystics are very much good citizens by all measures of the word. What I'm saying that the world loses power over you, what I'm saying is, a good example, people come over to see me as a hypnotherapist and they tell me, well, so-and-so insulted me, and I felt very insulted. Something is wrong with that person, or whatever the case is. When a mystic is functioning as a mystic, they are unshakable. And what makes them unshakable is their connection with the cosmic, their connection with a higher source, you see? And to that extent, others lose power over you, and by extension, the world around you loses power over you. A true mystic is always at peace. Everything is always fine, because everything that happens is happening for us, for our betterment, for our improvement, for our evolution. because the universe, according to mystics, is benevolent. The universe is always helping us live a better life and is always responding to our highest dreams and aspirations. Well, you've heard a few ideas about the class Introduction to Mysticism. You've heard a few ideas about mysticism itself. I hopefully shared a little bit about me with you. I invite more questions. I invite you to learn more, find out more. Feel free to ask questions. If you like this information, if you feel that it might be useful for others as well, I would invite you to like the video, perhaps even subscribe to the channel. If you want to find out when we put up the next video, make sure that you click on the bell. And as always, mystics and Kabbalists, we learn the power involved in sharing, and that's why we share these classes with you. So if you think this information is useful, please share the video with those that you believe would benefit from it. We don't have any expectations for the performance of the video or anything like this. We're just sharing with you some ideas. So if you believe that other people may benefit, please share. Although, I ask you only as a favor, not to us, but as a favor to the person who may become aware of this information. I'm looking forward to meeting you. One of the things that I enjoy about this path is to meet people who are like-hearted. We always talk about like-minded individuals, and that's awesome. But more powerfully, there are those who are like-hearted. Those are people who feel a certain feeling, a certain compassion, a certain love for life itself. And there's a very special bond among those people. There's a deep sense of respect. There's a deep sense of admiration from one another, because we're all working the same path together. We're all devoted to growing, to developing, to becoming a better version of ourselves every single day. So this is an awesome adventure, And I invite you to take a look at it, see if it's the right thing for you. So again, if you have questions, you can make the comments underneath the video, because I would love to hear what you're thinking. And I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. Thank you very much.